action than expected. But Floyd Mayweather beats Oscar De La Hoya on the scorecards. Brian Kenny with ESPN boxing analyst Teddy Atlas and Stephen A. Smith, longtime boxing aficionado. All right, let's start with split decision. Teddy, when they got to the third judge, that was Jerry Roth. It was Tom Kazmarek going with De La Hoya. It was Chuck Giampa going with Floyd Mayweather. They got to Jerry Roth. It was 115-113. I didn't know which way that would go. Your thoughts?
My thoughts was simple. Who I thought won the fight, and that was Floyd Mayweather. It was a little bit, and I'm not demeaning Oscar in any way, terrific fight, and boxing was served, but it was a little bit of sizzle versus steak, and the steak belonged more to Mayweather. He landed the cleaner, more effective punches, and that's what pro boxing's about. There's no doubt in my mind that, and the numbers, of course, bear it out, that Oscar threw more punches, but it's about what lands cleaner. He threw more, but the man who landed cleaner was Mayweather. He didn't have to work as hard, and that's what made it close, and that's what made people think. And we heard some people walking out of here that they were saying, "Hey, it was a bad decision," because they saw all the volume of punches. This was volume versus quality. And the quality went to the man who won.
While we were scoring the fight, there's a distinction between this is won by a wide margin, this is a close margin, and this is too close to call. Stephen A., I know I had 5 rounds that I thought were close that I couldn't say one judge could have had it one way and be wrong about it. Your thoughts on the decision?
I didn't have that much problem with it. You need to give yourself more credit because if Oscar De La Hoya listened to you, had he heard you, he might have won this fight. Oscar De La Hoya didn't throw his jab in the entire first round. The second round, he went to using his jab. That's when he got the edge over Floyd Mayweather Jr., then stopped using his jab for a majority of the fight. This is a guy that landed 21% of his punches. Floyd Mayweather threw less but still landed 43% of his shots. His shots were cleaner. He paced himself. He knew exactly what he was doing. Oscar expended a lot of energy, and he looked good to the crowd because he was swinging and throwing punches, but they were either being blocked or he was missing altogether. Well, this was a simple fight for me.
Well, it was simple. I had it 6-6. Well, so I had simple. You score round by round.
I had a 6-4 Mayweather with 2 rounds even. The third round and the 8th round were even to me because Oscar stole the 8th round late with a late flurry. That was about it to me. I thought that Floyd Mayweather won this fight by 2 rounds.
Yeah, but that's close. But you had 2 even rounds.
Okay,
and if you're forced to, and most judges will try not to have even rounds, you could have easily had that fight a draw.
Well, I'm thinking from the standpoint that Oscar's bigger, stronger. He was the constant aggressor, and Floyd wasn't running. He was moving, and he was moving strategically.
That's
and
that
is his game. But there were plenty of times where he stood right in front of Oscar, and Oscar still couldn't hit him. It reminded me when Sugar Ray Leonard went against Marvin Hagler, and Marvin Hagler was swinging blows, and the next thing you know, Sugar Ray was behind him, smacking him in the back of the head, saying, "Here I am, here I am." That's what Floyd Mayweather could have done in this
big
fight.
difference in being Sugar Ray Leonard was up on his toes and on his feet and dancing around the entire way.
Oscar got too caught up with thinking he was the bigger guy and just walking to his guy. The second round, when he started jabbing, was a different fight. When Oscar jabbed, he was able to control rounds because he was able to keep the shorter, quicker, slicker man on the outside, and he was able to stabilize him with that jab. When he didn't jab, he walked into the lion's den. He walked right into pot shot territory. Pot shots were open all night when there was no jab. See, when there's a jab coming at a guy who wants to counter, he can't counter. He's got to deal with that jab. But when you walk in with your body, a body that you think is bigger and stronger, and no jab, now all of a sudden the slick guy, the faster guy, he can pot shot you. He doesn't have to navigate that jab. The best thing to do with a guy who counterpunches is stay outside and use your jab. Guess what? Nothing to counter.
While we were watching this fight, again, Teddy was there saying no jab, no Oscar. When Oscar did jab, suddenly Floyd on the defensive and had lots of problems. Again, it's a split decision. Again, even Stephen A., that goes, it's clearly to Floyd Mayweather, had it 6-4-2. That gives you an idea. All right, it was actually pretty close. And so anybody that would say, I thought Oscar won it going away, I don't have an argument, and yet I had it 6-6. I could easily have it 7-5 for Floyd Mayweather. You wonder, quickly, rematch, or would there be interest in that?
Yeah, because Oscar, 2 reasons. One, it's Oscar De La Hoya. He's a marquee name. It was a terrific fight, and a lot of people think that he won, and they want to make an argument. They want to argue that he won. So this gives them a premise to come back and watch again.
I think this would make for a compelling rematch simply because Oscar De La Hoya did exhibit a level of quickness. So you've got people out there that's saying, well, next time he would know because Floyd Mayweather certainly never hurt him. So next time he'll know how to get at him, and maybe he could take him out, and that would be the intrigue.
Let's go to the Golden Boy right now, Jaime Mota with Oscar De La Hoya.
Game plan going into the fight early on.
Fight him. Just fight him. That's the way. Obviously, to throw more jabs, which I have to admit. it wasn't my jab night. Every time I would throw it, I would land it with a lot of force and snap his head back with no problem. But for some reason, it just didn't come out as much as I wanted to.
All right, again, big picture thoughts before we go, Teddy, on this fight. 5th round, you look to me. Good fight, huh? So it was not we thought it could be a dreadful decision because of the way Floyd might fight. Actually, this was a crisp fight.
Yeah, I don't think the smartest fight for Oscar, I mean, it's easy to say now, be a Monday morning quarterback, because, again, I think his length was serving him when he was using it. When you're fighting a guy who's a counterpuncher, if you stay on the outside and use your jab, there's nothing to counter. But if you come forward, there's something to counter. Oscar, maybe in his hurry to please everybody, and maybe to show he was a bigger guy, but to please everybody, to give that legacy, he was in too much of a hurry to come forward and forgot that was walking into the teeth of what Floyd Mayweather is.
We have to send it back to NBA Fast Break. And by the way, we appreciate you having Stephen A. out here. He's got the night off, so to speak, working with us. So again, we're going to continue on ESPN News. Right now, though, on ESPN, we send it back to NBA Fast Break. And we take a deep breath, and we continue along here on ESPN News, and we have a lot more coverage on the way here on this program as we go over the fight, a split decision for Floyd Mayweather. And again, it was an action-packed fight at the very beginning, and then hopefully we'll get this as we get some highlights out here for you at the beginning. A la his Uncle Roger, the Mexican assassin, Floyd Mayweather, Stephen A., has the audacity to come out in Mexican garb. Your thoughts when you saw that?
I couldn't believe it. I was laughing and I was saying, oh my goodness, what is going to happen now? What nerve to come out there in his whole Mexican garb. And he was basically telling the crowd, the entire crowd at the MGM Grand, you know what? The heck with all of y'all. I'm going to walk into this ring. I'm going to kick his butt, and I'm going to do it right in front of y'all, and there's not a thing that you can do about it. You would think that would be some incentive to further take him out. Maybe it's psyched not just the crowd out, but Oscar De La Hoya out.
The only mistake he made, the only thing he didn't do with that outfit was on the back of the shirts. I don't know if everyone at home could see it. It said Mayweather loves Mexicans, or Mexico.
Mexico,
loves Mexico. If he would have said Mayweather loves Mexican,
would have been more clever.
That would have been the perfect.
Let me point something out here. Right after the fight, on the telecast, on the pay-per-view telecast, Floyd Mayweather said that he was retiring. I want to get it out there as a point of fact because Floyd Mayweather did say that. Maybe I didn't bring it out earlier because, Stephen A., I just don't believe it.
He's clearly lying. He's clearly lying. First of all, Floyd Mayweather Jr. made sure all of us know how much he loves money. He stands to make a lot more dollars now that he has a victory over Oscar De La Hoya on his resume. Suppose Oscar De La Hoya wants a rematch. Suppose he demands a rematch. How much money is that going to be worth? He likes to say he's filthy rich. Well, that will help his cause. I don't believe one bit of it.
He said if it makes dollars, it makes sense. It's going to make a lot of sense to fight again. And at the age of 30, if he does step away, Teddy, on top at the age of 30, well, Floyd will be the only guy in the history of the sport to do so, to go away and stay away. As we look at Floyd Mayweather going through, and his voice is still moving. Your thoughts on the possibility of him retiring, Teddy?
Hey, look, of course there's a possibility. First of all, he has the money. I mean, you have to have money to retire. You know, he's made good money. He's made huge money in this, anywhere from $10, $15 million, depending on what the upside is. And obviously, he has the accomplishments that he wants. He's had the big fight now in his career. You know, Ginger Roger match up with Fred Astaire. So you know, he got the benefit of that. He has the professional benefit of having the titles that he's wanted to have. He can tell his children can tell their friends that their father was able to accomplish the things he was able to accomplish. He has the ability, if he wants to, if he's satisfied, obviously, to retire.
There's something that's missing here. Oscar De La Hoya, as impressive as he was in the eyes of so many people tonight, is not the Oscar De La Hoya of old. This is a big victory, and it's not to take anything away from what Floyd Mayweather Jr. accomplished tonight, but you've got a lot of bright young fighters out there at that division and at the junior middleweight division, guess what, that are out there to be had. And if you're Floyd Mayweather Jr., you might think this is a big victory, and it is, but it's not like Sugar Ray Leonard beating Tommy Hitman Hearns. It's not like somebody beating Hagler or anything like that. This is not up on that level. So I would stop just a tad bit shy of that and remind Floyd Mayweather Jr., you know what? You talked about being the greatest and retiring as the greatest of all time. You're not getting that title right now.
Oh, no, look, Floyd had pointed out with Oscar on his resume that his wins over Pernell Whitaker and Julio Cesar Chavez were against guys who were past their prime. Both of those men were 33 years old. Oscar De La Hoya, his victory tonight was against a man 34 years old.
right.
That's Oscar. So clearly this wasn't, again, Hearns and Leonard, two men in their prime going after each other. And yet it is the mainstream acceptance and all the money that he has craved. Let me point out, too, Teddy, it's a dangerous business. If you were training Floyd Mayweather, it's a, kind of an absurd thought, but if that were the case, what would you advise him to do now? Again, it's a dangerous business.
Hey, Roy Jones Jr. comes to mind. You know, he's a guy, a very thoughtful man, a guy that understood the dangers of it, sometimes spoke. People thought too passively. People weren't happy. They didn't think the ambers were burning in Roy. Great talent.
He spoke about retiring and not getting hurt. Right.
And very honestly, hey, if you have a brain in your head, you have to think in those terms, and you should. And he looked at some of the old fighters and he said, that's not going to happen to me. But he didn't retire.
Right.
And he got knocked out twice in a row, and now he's in a position, can he retire and can be satisfied now with that as legacy? I'm sure that Mayweather will look at those kind of things. And those are the things that you need to look at. And those are the things that are in front of the road for you to be considering. There's more money for him to be made, but there's more risk if he continues, obviously. And Steven said very well, if it's very important for him to be able to say, I'm the greatest, and to come close to being able to put that stamp on it, then he can't go yet.
One of the things I want to mention about Roy Jones is that he didn't fight competition for a while. Montel Griffin didn't count. We know what he did to him in that rematch, knocked him out in the first round. After that, he was fighting a bunch of bums before getting into the ring with Antonio Tarver and got knocked out. Then Johnson got knocked out.
Stephen, he had a win over top 10 heavyweight.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, we're not counting. Please.
He's a top 10 heavyweight.
We're not even talking about John
Ruiz.
John Ruiz. Are you kidding me? You expect me to? Please, that was handpicked. No, let's not even pay attention to that. But what I'm saying is, with Floyd Mayweather Jr., he's fought some stiff competition. He still needs to continue to do it if he wants to reclaim the title as the best.
Let me cut you off here for a second, Stephen A., because we have Sugar Shane Mosley, who's joining us live right now, a 3-division champion in his own right. Shane, Brian Kenny here with Stephen A. Smith and Teddy Atlas. Your thoughts on the fight and the decision?
Well, I mean, it was a great fight. I believe that give Mayweather a lot of credit. He showed a lot of poise in there, and and he was able to absorb some of Oscar's shots. I think it was a great fight, but I also think that Oscar should have got the decision. I thought that 15-13 was a good score, but maybe I'm a little biased. So it was a great fight, and I don't know. I don't know if people want to see it again or not.
Yeah, no, of course, now it's a possibility of you being next in line if Floyd continues to fight, if he does not retire. Your thoughts on the possibility of fighting Floyd Mayweather after what you just saw? Again, you have 2 victories over Oscar De La Hoya.
I mean, definitely. I definitely want to get in the ring with a Floyd Mayweather Jr. In the fight, I noticed that, Oscar hit him with a lot of jabs, and when I fought Oscar, I didn't get hit by near as many jabs as Floyd Mayweather Jr. did.
All right, Shane, did you score the fight, or were you? I know you were up there, and again, as a member of Golden Boy, I don't know, did you get a chance to score it, or you just your impressions of the fight and the way it went?
Well, I didn't really score it like round for round, I think,
right.
But I would give it like a 15-13. I thought that Oscar early on was controlling the fight and was landing a lot of shots, a lot of punches, and then I think Mayweather came on in about maybe the 8th, 9th round, and he started going to his favor, but. All in all, it was a great fight all the way to the end. I give Oscar the victory.
All right, again, it was a very good fight. Sugar Shane Mosley, 3-division world champion. Thank you, Shane. Good talking to you again.
Yeah.
Shane Mosley, again, joining us here. And again, a member of Golden Boy Promotions, we should point out, as he says, you have to forgive my bias. Well, that's what he's talking about. Once again, it was a split decision win for Floyd Mayweather. Again, boxing wins on this night. It was a crisp, a good fight that had drama. It had the excitement in there. And, it had everything. And it has, if it's a controversial decision, possibly, but it was a close decision. That's all for right now. We'll have much more here on all the ESPN networks. Right now, we send it back to Bristol.
There's no one better at covering the big fights than BK. Brian Kenny.
He is tremendous.
Unbelievable job as usual. Floyd Mayweather knocking off Oscar De La Hoya by way of split decision. De La Hoya threw more punches, as the fellas talked about, but Mayweather landed at better than a 2-to-1 clip. And in terms of power punches, Mayweather 47% as opposed to 24% for De La Hoya. So Floyd Mayweather 38-0. Question now is, will the #1 pound-for-pound boxer in the world retire or not?
fucking trash. We'll see.
Open it down, yeah. Open it down.
Hi, and welcome to this hour-long edition of ESPN News. Along with Robert Flores, I'm J.W. Stewart. Floyd Mayweather Jr. says every fight needs a good guy and a bad guy.
And Floyd did a good job of playing the role of villain. Saturday, he played it to perfection. He wore a sombrero and the colors of the Mexican flag to the ring, on Cinco de Mayo, no less. But Floyd Mayweather comes away with a split decision, defeating Oscar De La Hoya as he remains undefeated. He said he would massacre Oscar De La Hoya. He didn't do that, but he dominated all 12 rounds in a style that Floyd Mayweather has come to be known for. It's not flashy, but it is defensive and is effective. He slipped punches from Oscar De La Hoya. De La Hoya tried to press the issue using the jab, but Floyd Mayweather, he doesn't have a style that is really exciting for a lot of fans because he doesn't throw a lot of punches, but he is the champion tonight. Here's Brian Kenny with more.
Thank you so much. At the MGM Grand, it was the super fight, and it was a crisp fight. It was an exciting fight, and so much drama between Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather. Here's how they arrived. Again, Oscar De La Hoya, an undisputed champion in 4 different weight classes. As you mentioned, he comes in at 154. That's the weight he's most comfortable at. Floyd Mayweather just wanted to get this fight. He said any weight, any gloves, it doesn't matter. Floyd Mayweather, a legitimate undisputed champion in 3 different weight classes. He takes another belt. He likes belts, and he takes one in a split decision at 154 pounds. The scorecards, Tom Kazmarek had it 115-113 for Oscar De La Hoya. Chuck Giampa had it 116-112 for Floyd Mayweather. Jerry Roth 115-113 for Floyd Mayweather, who gets a close and hard-earned split decision over the Golden Boy. Here's Oscar De La Hoya after the fight.
I felt I pressed the fight. Obviously, he was hitting me with the jab. But they were little pity pat punches. I didn't really feel nothing, and obviously I blocked a lot with my hands. But as a champion, I kept on pressing the fight till the end, and every time I would land the punches, they would hurt him, and so I was surprised.
What do you do now?
You go back to the drawing board,
Well, there's Oscar De La Hoya once again disappointed with the decision. And again, he's racked up a bunch of losses now over his previous fights. He loses to Hall of Famers, but he has a loss, of course, to Bernard Hopkins, his one stoppage. And now, again, I put this out there. It was a close decision loss, a split decision loss to Floyd Mayweather here tonight in Las Vegas. I'm joined now by ESPN boxing analyst Teddy Atlas and boxing aficionado Stephen A. Smith, who joins us for the biggest of fights. Let's start with, was boxing served on its biggest night of the year and probably the biggest night of the 5 years in its sport?
Undoubtedly, yes. Boxing was served. You had a good fight. You had a fight that had some ebbs and flows. You didn't have them just at a distance, just showing skills. They showed merit. They showed what you want to see. They showed a fight. And one last thing, the cherry on top. You had a great last round.
Yes, with Oscar De La Hoya going after it, and it was a scintillating last round that 2 of the 3 judges did give to Oscar De La Hoya. Stephen, again, when you're watching the number 1 guy in the sport, pound for pound, I was almost surprised to see, whoa, he lost a round. Almost Roy Jones Jr.-esque, where you're like, oh, he lost another round. So I don't know if I gave too much credit for Oscar for taking rounds. Your thoughts on how close some of those rounds were?
Some of those rounds were very close. There's no denying that. But the bottom line is this. Oscar De La Hoya should have used his jab more. Had he used his jab more, he would have been very effective. Remember, he landed 21% of his punches. That means he missed most of the time when he was swinging those blows. They were either being blocked or he was flat out missing. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather Jr. kept composed. He was moving. He was as elusive as ever. We all knew that that would be the case, and at the end of the day, Oscar landed very few flush punches. He was trying to put on flurries near the end to win rounds and steal it because he knew he had the momentum of the crowd behind him. But at the end of the day, the judges knew what everybody else knew, and that is it was a close fight, but it was deserving for Floyd Mayweather Jr. He won this fight fair and square. Landed 43% of his punches, by the way. That says a lot.
Par for the course, where he's very efficient and he barely gets hit. More like Pernell Whitaker, really, the way he fights. Teddy, you were saying all throughout the fight, no jab, no Oscar. Still, how close was this fight?
I had it 116-114 for Floyd, but I had 2 even rounds. And one of those could have definitely, at least one of them could have definitely gone to Mayweather. So I could have had it 3 points for Mayweather, but I had it 116-114. That's fairly close, but you knew who the winner was. I felt you knew who the winner was. And I do disagree with Oscar. As great an ambassador he's been for the sport and everything else, saying that the pity-patter punches were from Floyd. And some of that is pride talking right now, right after an event. It's always tough to talk to an athlete right after an event. But they weren't pity-patter punches. Actually, the more telling punches, the more quality punches, I thought, at least in my humble opinion, came from Mr. Mayweather.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather put a few right hands right on the whiskers of Oscar De La Hoya. Neither fighter was ever really hurt during the fight, but there were some meaningful shots thrown. Of course, the odd man out in this situation was Floyd Mayweather Sr., who was here in attendance, courtesy of a ticket from his former fighter, Oscar De La Hoya. He was also not in the corner for his son, Floyd Mayweather, and by the way, he doesn't go by Junior, which is telling as well. Jaime Mota caught up with Floyd Mayweather Sr. right after this bout.
Well, do you think it would have made a difference had you been in Oscar's corner?
If I was in Oscar's corner, the way he fought with Rising, he'd be raising his hand tonight. He should have been still raising his hand anyway.
Well, thank you so much, Floyd.
There's Floyd Sr. once again. We're going to step away. Again, there is a difference between a close decision and a controversial decision. I, by the way, had it 6 rounds to 6. Stephen A. had it 6-4-2, and you had it with 1 round even, 116-114.
2 rounds even.
2 rounds even. Two rounds even as well. It was a close fight, but Floyd Mayweather takes the belt at 154 pounds in a high-level bout in this super fight. Let's send it back to Bristol.
Well, here's a look at the CompuBox punch stats, as the guys alluded to. De La Hoya, the aggressor in this fight. Now, whether or not that's effective aggression, that's up to the judges and the people that saw the fight. But clearly, De La Hoya pushed the issue. Mayweather slipped a lot of punches. But as I mentioned before, he claims to be one of the greatest fighter of all time. When you're a guy that doesn't stand in the pocket and trade punches with your opponents, I don't think you can make that claim. But with that being said, Mayweather was the more effective fighter tonight. Where Floyd Mayweather defeats Oscar De La Hoya by split decision. Mayweather continues his undefeated record. Brian Kenny anchors our coverage from Las Vegas. Brian, Floyd made 2 proclamations this week that he would be the villain and that he would massacre Floyd Mayweather. Well, one out of 2 isn't bad.
Well, he certainly didn't massacre him. It was a split decision win. It was an excellent fight. It was, of course, very dramatic, and it was a split decision, and that says an awful lot. It was a close decision, not a controversial decision. As we were walking out, Teddy Atlas and I, we heard fans saying, you can't win a fight backing up. Actually, no, you can, and Floyd Mayweather did just that. Once again, Floyd Mayweather is now 38-0. It's a second split decision win. This is probably the closest he's ever come to losing a fight, and I'm sure many people who scored it, either watching on pay-per-view or ringside, may have had it for Oscar De La Hoya. It was that close. Right now, Jaime Mota is standing by with Roger Mayweather, the trainer, uncle for Floyd Mayweather, and the trainer of record for Floyd Mayweather as well.
Thank you, Brian. Roger, what was your impression of the fight and of the decision?
Well, the fight should have been unanimous decision because, number one, you don't get point for hitting somebody's arms, throwing a bunch of unnecessary punches. You ain't even landing. I know boxing. I was raised in boxing. The fight should have been scored 9-3 or 8-4. I guarantee you that was the press going to write up. That it should. The fight was a shutout. The fight wasn't even close. Wasn't nowhere near close. How you gonna get points because you're moving forward, getting hit offside your head? And if he believes that he won, like he won against Trinidad, why don't he fight him again? That's the easiest thing to do, if he can back it up.
Well, Floyd started a little slow, and he started to assert himself from the fourth round on. What did you tell him in the corner?
I told Floyd this, and I know about media, and I know about fans, and I know about what people think. See, when a guy is throwing punches, even if he's not landing punches, people in the audience believe those punches are landing. If those punches was landing on Floyd, Floyd wouldn't even be in there. If those punches that Oscar De La Hoya was throwing was clearly landing, Floyd wouldn't be in there. But at the same time, they wasn't landing. It was, and to be honest, skill-wise, it was a mismatch. And if he don't believe he can whoop, if he truly believes he was robbed, if he truly believe that, fight him again.
Well, those are the words of Roger Mayweather, the trainer of the new super welterweight champion. Back to you, Brian.
Jaime, thank you so much. Again, Roger there saying he saw it 8-4, but also saw it a shutout. There were many close rounds. There were, I counted, at least 5 rounds that could have gone either way in this fight. Let's take a look at the highlights right now. And then Roger, again, in his career, known for being able to take out Mexican fighters. So Floyd, his nephew, comes in the Mexican garb and also had a sombrero as he came in. Oscar De La Hoya came in and in the second round began to assert himself with the jab. And there's no question what Roger said. There's a lot of merit to it. Again, it's the subtle art of his nephew, Floyd Mayweather, making Oscar miss many punches. Oscar trying to make things rough whenever he could when he had Floyd up against the ropes. And Floyd certainly, although Oscar had said, well, if there was a pity-pat punches hitting me, there were some real crisp shots, especially good, hard right hands coming out from Floyd Mayweather, a new title holder at 154 pounds. Teddy Atlas is joining me right now. Again, it was a split decision as we take a look at Oscar's 5 losses. And Teddy, we're going to be talking about this with the legacy of Oscar De La Hoya. Look, he's lost twice to Shane Mosley. He lost a very controversial decision to Felix Trinidad, and he got stopped by a great middleweight champion in Bernard Hopkins. And now he loses close to Floyd Mayweather. First, your thoughts on the decision, Teddy?
Well, first of all, to just touch on what you just said, yeah, quite honestly, De La Hoya's lost more big fights than he's won. But as far as the decision, I thought it was a fair decision. I thought one man won the fight. No matter how you want to look at it, you knew who won the fight. Floyd Mayweather won that fight. And I had it 116, 114. I could have had it even a little further for Mayweather because I had a couple even rounds. But the cleaner, more solid, professional punches, the way the system's set up to put fannies in the seats, that belonged to Mayweather. Quantity, the other guy. Quality and counting punches, Mayweather.
Scoring punches and effective aggression, and again, that is Floyd Mayweather who got the decision. By the way, again, you score it round by round, you add it up. I had it 6-6. That's how I had it. Again, you had it 6-4-2.
You know what? Maybe the better question is who made who fight their fight. That might be the really. And
wait, we have Floyd Mayweather standing by.
Okay.
Let's go right there. Right, Jaime Mota is standing by with the winner tonight, Floyd Mayweather. Jaime.
Thank you, Brian. Here with Floyd Mayweather, the new super welterweight champion. Congratulations. Still undefeated.
Yeah.
What's your assessment of the fight?
Oscar De La Hoya, he's a good fighter. I'm a good fighter. The world awaited to see a great fight, and that's what we gave him tonight.
Well, Oscar says that he's the one that pressed the issue, that he should have gotten the decision.
Well,
what's your opinion on that?
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I'm not the judge. Pressing doesn't win fights. Offense wins fights and defense wins fights. All the shots that Oscar was landing was on the arm and on the shoulder. You look at both our faces, you see who got all the bruises. But it was a great fight tonight. I'm blessed to be where I'm at. Oscar's a great champion. I'm a great champion. We put on a great fight.
What worked best for you through the entire fight?
Just my jab, my right hook, my left hook, jab to the body. Just took my time, stuck to the game plan, went out there and got the victory tonight. I feel good, feel great.
Well, you said that you are planning on retiring. Are you still sticking to that?
Well, it's up to my, I plan on retiring, but like I said before, if the fans demand a rematch and the fans want to see a rematch, hey, what can I say? We don't know what the future holds for Floyd Mayweather.
So you would be able to give him a rematch. How soon would that be?
I'm just saying, I don't know what the future holds for Floyd Mayweather, but as of right now, I'm retired. But, I got to talk it over with my team and see what they say.
What do you think you did to win this fight?
Well, like I said before, I wasn't the promoter. Oscar De La Hoya was the promoter. He chose the gloves. He chose the site. All I did is went out there and said, the fans can't win the fight for you, and I went out there and done what I had to do, and that's be the best Floyd Mayweather. I boxed him. Like I said, I didn't take no punishment. I feel good.
If there is a rematch, you think things would be the same, or would you employ different tactics?
It don't matter. That was like one of my easiest fights, actually. I mean, he's just a guy that's kind of wild when I'm leaning on the ropes. But Oscar's a great champion. I'm a great champion. He's a great businessman. 24/7 was unbelievable. And what else can I say? I don't know what the future holds for Floyd Mayweather right now. But I'm happy. 6-time world champion, 5 different weight classes. It's truly a blessing to be where I'm at.
Thank you so much, and congratulations once again. Brian, back to you.
Jaime, thank you so much. Again, Floyd Mayweather a winner tonight by a split decision. Teddy, you have to give him credit. He's extremely consistent. He never really varies from what he wants to do in there. I wondered if Oscar might fade down the stretch. There might have been a lull here and there, but by and large, the 34-year-old man finished strongly in this fight. Your thoughts on the way it ended?
Well, again, he did finish strongly, and that was good for the world of boxing, that it was able to finish with that kind of excitement, with that kind of exclamation point. But no matter who you thought, arithmetic, rounds, scores, who made who fight, whose fight. And I think that was Mayweather. He made Oscar come to him where he could pot shot him, where he could use his speed, he could take the height away. There's two ways to take the height away from someone. Work your way in behind your jab, or get the guy to cooperate, to come in where you can pot shot him. He got Oscar to come in, and Floyd was able to use his great speed, pot shot him, sniper him all night long. And again, Oscar wasn't a bigger, stronger man. You didn't see him pushing him around. And again, Mayweather was an illusionist. You know, he made you think that you had the head there. You go like this, and he took it away from you.
Yep.
But this was there. And this wasn't gone to quite enough.
Yep, there were still some rounds that went to Oscar De La Hoya, and as Teddy mentioned all throughout the fight as we sat together, no jab, no Oscar. When there was a jab, suddenly Oscar was winning some convincing rounds, or winning rounds convincingly in this fight. Final analysis, though, again, a split decision win for Floyd Mayweather, who remains undefeated. There we are. We'll have both fighters in the news conference. We'll have it for you live here. So we'll be back in Las Vegas. For Teddy Atlas, I'm Brian Kenny. Right now, we send it back to Robert.
Okay, BK, Teddy, thanks. Floyd Mayweather moving up in weight. This was a fight that was set at 154 pounds. Mayweather came in at 150, so he didn't come in at the maximum limit. And
the extra weight did not slow him down by any means.
No, and I think that was important for him. He didn't feel like he had to be bulked up or anything like that. He's naturally a smaller man than De La Hoya, and his speed was on full display tonight as he remains undefeated. It'll be intriguing to see who he fights next.
In sports, this is ESPN News.
Come on, talk your trash. We'll see. Open it down, are you? Open it down.
Hi, and welcome to this hour-long edition of ESPN News, along with Robert Flores. I'm J.W. Stewart. Floyd Mayweather Jr. says every fight needs a good guy and a bad guy.
And Floyd has done a good job of playing the role of villain leading up to this fight. Saturday, he played it to perfection. He wore a sombrero in the colors of the Mexican flag to the ring Saturday night, on Cinco de Mayo, no less. But Floyd Mayweather, love him or hate him, he comes away with another belt. He beat Oscar De La Hoya Saturday night via a split decision. De La Hoya, 4 years older than Floyd. He's the bigger man. He was the heavier man tonight. He tried to press the issue, but Floyd was often just too slippery, too fast.
Hard to hit a guy that won't stand still. And even when Oscar did cut him off and get him in the corner, it was too easy for Floyd to duck and run.
That's right. De La Hoya threw more punches, but Mayweather probably threw the more effective punches. $19 million was made at the gate in Las Vegas. That is the most ever in boxing history, and that doesn't even include the pay-per-view revenue and all the other revenue streams that came along with this fight.
That pay-per-view could also be the largest ever in boxing history.
That is amazing. Brian Kenny now leads our coverage from Las Vegas with more on this super fight between De La Hoya and Mayweather.
Thank you so much. It was an excellent night of high-level boxing, and Floyd Mayweather wins a split decision. Now, how close was this fight? Keep this in mind. Jerry Roth had it 115 to 113, the swing judge, basically, as he was announced last, possibly, against Floyd Mayweather. He had it for Floyd Mayweather. He was the only judge who gave the 12th round to Floyd Mayweather. Had he swung that back to Oscar De La Hoya, we would have had a draw. It was 1 round away from a draw. This was, look, 5 close rounds out of 12 as we scored it ringside. It was the subtle art of Floyd Mayweather taking the day, but Oscar De La Hoya, when he used the jab, as Teddy Atlas pointed out to us ringside time and again, when there's no jab, there's no Oscar. When there was a jab from Oscar De La Hoya, all sorts of good things happened against the #1 fighter in the world, pound for pound. Again, Floyd, not the electrifying fighter of Roy Jones Jr., doesn't have that type of speed, doesn't have the power of a Mike Tyson, 2 other #1 pound for pound fighters, but Floyd Mayweather, with the subtle art, again, moving back, using the subtle feints and controlling distance, wins the decision, which was, again, razor close. Tom Kazmarek had it 115-113 for Oscar De La Hoya, 7 rounds to 5. Chuck Giampa 116-112 for Mayweather, 8 rounds to 4. And again, Jerry Roth, who had the 12th round for Floyd Mayweather, had it 7 rounds to 5. Did he deserve the decision? Jaime Mota is with Floyd Mayweather.
You know, pressing doesn't win fights. Offense wins fights and defense wins fights. All the shots that Oscar was landing was on the arm and on the shoulder. You look at both of our faces, you'll see who got all the bruises. But it was a great fight tonight. I'm blessed to be where I'm at. Oscar's a great champion. I'm a great champion. We put on a great fight.
What worked best for you through the entire fight?
Just my jab, my right hook, my left hook, jab to the body. Just took my time, stuck to the game plan, went out there and got the victory tonight. I feel good, feel great.
Well, you said that you are planning on retiring. Are you still sticking to that?
Well, it's up to my, I plan on retiring, but like I said before, if the fans demand a rematch and the fans want to see a rematch, hey, what can I say? We don't know what the future holds with Floyd Mayweather.
So you would be able to give
Well, you can see by the eyes there, Floyd Mayweather, not an easy fight. Teddy Atlas joins me now. Teddy, your thoughts on Floyd's performance tonight?
Sweet science. You know, there was a great writer that one time said, this is the sweet science. It's not always sweet. It's always not scientific. Tonight, Floyd Mayweather showed that it can be the sweet science. Smart, quick. When he had to walk forward, he walked forward. When he had to counter, he countered. When he had to move a little bit to the sides, he moved a little bit to the sides. He controlled the rhythm. He controlled the theme of the fight. He controlled the man in front of him and made him do what he wanted him to do.
And yet you had it 6 rounds to 4 with 2 rounds even. That's a close fight.
Yeah, it's a close fight, but you knew who won. You knew, I felt, who won. It was one guy, Mayweather. He did the more telling things in the fight.
Let's hear from the Golden Boy right now. Here's Oscar De La Hoya.
I don't feel like a loser. I mean, when you fight, you either feel like you lost or you feel like you won, and I don't really feel like I lost. I pressed the action. I landed really strong punches while he was backpedaling, and you can clearly see it. So, I mean, in order to beat the champion, you got to really take it from him, and that wasn't really the case tonight.
What?
Oscar De La Hoya's high-level losses, 2 to Shane Mosley. He has a loss as well to Felix Trinidad, and many thought, including myself, that he actually won that fight. Again, a stoppage against Bernard Hopkins, that's a no-doubter against the middleweight champion of the world, and now this very close loss to Floyd Mayweather. Your thoughts on Oscar De La Hoya's performance, Teddy?
Didn't fight, I don't think anyway, the right fight for himself. The wrong battle plan. Battle in his heart, but in his mind, not up to par.
The most important thing that we point out, because we can go over all sorts of things.
The jab.
Use the jab, right. This sounds simple, but that's how it works out.
You're fighting a counterpuncher. You must know who you're fighting, what you're fighting. You're fighting a guy who's a counterpuncher. He needs a certain kind of distance to counter something. You can't counter something if you're on the outside with a long jab. When the jab was coming, there was nothing to be countered by Mayweather. When there was no jab, there was pot-shotting, there was countering. He's lost. Oscar has lost some big fights, and they've been close. And in most